science, computer science related topics. But as the time goes by, the technology is advancing more than we can imagine. So I was not that well updated and knowledgeable about IT once I started my work about 8 months ago. But through that, I can learn a lot. And then I even once scolded that I was like lack of confidence. But I do my best in my work, and I had the chance to deliver my first summer project lesson, which is about microbit. Next slide, please. So I worked even harder, and I could finally deliver my lesson for the student who registered the course. And microbit is one of the microcomputers, so we can do a lot of things with this. And yes, through the hard work, I believe that I really gained the trust from my employer as I improved my skill in IT. And as I learned, even it is a brief experience, if we are about to teach in this technological era, so we should really learn and improve ourselves in computer science or games related topics. Even by knowing about playing games is one of the good advantages that we can implement in our own teaching. I was once against gaming, but now through games I can really utilize it for my teaching. Next slide, please. So why is it important to learn and improve our skill in games or even computer science? So by learning those skills, actually we are not teaching only one skill, but multiple skills. We learn language skill, critical thinking. Take for example the first games here, Minecraft. So students, they learn about language in an item in English, for example, like they name the item they have, like package or woods. So within the game, they really learn the language, and they also learn critical thinking, how they can survive in the games. So there are many obstacles in the game, so they learn like the real world problems. And further on, they also improve their motivation and their teamwork during playing the games. So these are all skills which are essential in this 21st century. So next slide, please. Lastly, I would like to suggest if we all, we can actually feel free to deepen our skills in IT from this platform here, like Coursera, edX, or FutureLearn. So by doing that, we really give an added value to our own professional trajectory. So that's from me. Let's get back to Mr. Johan. Please, next slide. Okay, so yeah, I just want to talk about, my colleague has just shared skills that you can develop for your students. I want to share skills that you can develop for you. So everybody knows YouTube. You can make your own channel, right? I have my own channel. My hobby is collecting back notes, but at the same time, I love, when I'm teaching, I just can't teach without PowerPoint slides. And I make lots and lots of PowerPoint slides, and then in the end, I just delete it. And because I have a small computer, and just when going through the files, I was like, when am I gonna use this again? And then I just ended up deleting it. So actually, as I become older, now I have a son, I need to save time so that I can spend more time with my son. So I just make PowerPoint slides, and then I'll turn it into a movie, and I'll just upload it on YouTube. So, it's like 1 in 100 chances, so after I make 100 slides, then when I'm teaching, for example, I have a new private student or things like that, and then I want to use that slide again, then I can just I remember I made that slide, so I can kind of recycle. So that is how I use YouTube. Sorry, please, next slide. And
And another way is obviously, you make your own videos. So for example, in one of my part-time jobs, I was teaching science. So I was really excited doing this project. So I don't know, I'm not a good science teacher, but I'm willing to learn. And then I made this video, which is soaking eggs with drinks. So I compared between beer, tea, and apple juice with eggs, and then kind of like did a sort of analysis of how the eggs turned out. And it's not a brilliant video, but when you're teaching and then when your students see you in your own video, it's more personalized. So I feel like you can build better connections with the students if you make your own material. So that's one thing. Please, next slides. And another one is WordPress. Obviously, you guys know this one. WordPress is actually quite tricky. People say, well, depending on who you talk to, maybe people say, oh man, it's so easy to make, but it's not that easy. You gotta put in the hours to kind of like learn how to navigate through WordPress so that you can make a nice presentation like this. So please, next slide. This is a brilliant place for you to practice your writing. I'm always, even though I consider myself pretty good at the English language, but I'm still, wanting to improve more and more and more so that when I'm writing, it's, it flows nicely. I'm always constantly reading Guardian and stuff just to making sure that, I'm updated with the English language. So, definitely a good way to improve yourself is through blogging. Very next slide. And lastly, I just want to talk about Facebook business page. I've done a couple of presentations where I kind of just show off my achievement on Facebook business page. It's a bit blurry, but once you've kind of like constantly build your sort of reputation, you will be noticed. If you know Marek Hicks-Kowiak, he runs the TESOL Equity and advocates. So he's advocating for non-native teachers. So, and we want to do a project together. So I'm very excited to have a project with him. Next slide. Oh yeah, and just he commented on my post twice. So he's keen, I'm keen, we're excited, and that's it for me. And building connections.
All right, thank you. Great part from Mr. Johan. And next, we're gonna talk about building connection. So, we go to the next slide.
Sorry.
Yeah, man is by nature a social animal by Aristotle. So, this is a fact that we are human, are social creature, right? So no one can deny this. Whether we have personality of introvert or extrovert or other personality traits, no matter it is, there is a fact that we can't deny, which is we need to connect with others. So this whether connection and also making friends were all my weakest point when I was a very quiet kid, and also I have like confidence. So these issues were in my life, and through that I can really keep asking in myself, and I built my own personal research, if I can call it so. So through my own personal research, I gradually developed interest in networking and also building connection when I was back in my undergraduate in Indonesia. So today I'm grateful that for having this presentation with Mr. Johan, so where I can share my own experience, tips, and also hand-on strategies to expand our network. But by any means, I am not an expert, and through my unique experience, I hope this could really help another non-native speaker teachers in this field. Next slide, please. There are actually only two steps that I would like to share today. The first is, of course, to get started. So what we should do is to set a growth mindset, the mindset of learning. So this mindset means that we always want to improve, to develop ourselves. So try to be open, be optimistic, learn to be a good listener. And at the same time, we just need to be ourselves. So be confident. But how? Simply by putting smile on our face. Is that simple? So maybe it's easier said than done. But let's take a look at deeper from what I've learned, some aspect that I could share today. This next slide. From my experience, I learned that everyone has their own insecurities. No one is perfect. So I myself is not perfect. And by no means, like, if we are to share, to build and to expand our network with others, we don't need to be afraid. It doesn't mean that we have no flaws, but everyone is at certain level of learning, and we really have to be our own self because we have a clear goal that we set, and we know that the mission that we have is bigger than our own fears. So by that, this leads to our second step in building connection. Next slide, please. Which is taking action. So I believe everyone here all do take action. That's why we are here in this JALT online conference. So the first step, setting our mindset, growth mindset, and the second step, even more important, taking action. So as we are taking action, we are really like putting ourselves ahead, and we can really connect with people. No one can connect with others without taking action. Next slide, please. So in this field, being involved in the community is one of the most essential things. Participating and then being active. So through my own experience, I did from my first year as a graduate school student, and I joined the JALT conference, and through that experience, I really learned a lot, that I could meet more experienced teachers and learn the passion and also the spirit of teaching and sharing. And one of the exact benefits that we can gain through communities is the sense of solidarity. So we are all together, we are growing together. So through that, we can like really engage and support each other. And in terms of like in getting more opportunities for employment or even personal or professional development, so it doesn't mean that by joining one of the teaching communities we directly get a job, but it's really open up our network and opportunities and doors to more job offer. And it's all back to our own efforts, but we should believe on the power of networking, because in our journey we can meet many types of opportunities that can really help us to gain a job. But through my own experience, networking is the most powerful and really the right one. Okay, next slide, please. So if we are expanding our network, we have also strengthened and deepened our connection. Here, there are two tips that we can do as a teacher to really like deepen our connection. First is like to create chances. So create chances to meet others, and then this can be through attending conference, seminar. We can join online events. So through that we can really like meet other people, even social media and informal dinner party, for example. We can really deepen our bond with other teachers. And another thing that is more important, we can really initiate the routines for project. For example, if we want to maintain the connection with others, we can create project together, make a presentation, or work for like interview, and even only like sharing session or discussion. These tips is actually the tips that I learned from my colleague, Mr. Johan, as we were connecting through Facebook Messenger and were exchanging ideas, and we talked about what kind of project that we can do. And that's why we are here today to share to you our presentation. And I was so grateful that he gave me the trust that to work together, and really I hope this really can help us to expand our connection. Yes, so back to you. For the
Okay.
next part, Mr. Johan.
Yeah, and just to add, he approached me. He found me actually in 2018. I was presenting, and then after my presentation, he came to me and he said hello. Oh, hi. It's easier for us to kind of like get to know each other. Just to say hello, just because we're both from Indonesia. I don't know how he heard that I'm from Indonesia. Maybe he just saw my name. It's like, oh, that seems like an Indonesian name, and then so that's how we expanded our network. I mean, he found me, and I'm so glad I met him, and then we just kept on talking on Messenger. So yeah.
Alright, so get
Oh,
back to me.
okay, sorry.
Thank you. So just a little bit sharing. Yeah, here is some of the conference that I had attended since my first year in graduate school. And next slide, please.
Oh, sorry.
Actually, we can also join like online community. I know that JALT, most of the JALT special interest group, they have Facebook account. We can easily join. I think through that we can also gain like more network. And I'm not endorsed by any of this group, but I think we can just take a look at the website, for example, JALT websites, and maybe we can also join ALT Train Online, which is one of my friends, non-native speaker teacher from Nepal, is the admin of the group. So next slide, please. Okay, so let's get to the next part of building our professional development. So next, it is publication. So this might be the most important thing, but the hardest to start. Okay. For example, if we are really like keen to pursue our career in university level, I think, and from what I heard, the minimum requirement, at least we have 2 or 3 publications or journal articles. So I'm wishing to teach at the university level in the future. I'm working and building up my journal, and in this case I'm grateful, and I think I'm so fortunate that I had the chance to get a grant from JALT, Tokyo JALT last year, and through the report and article that I write, that will be published in the upcoming Tokyo JALT journal. And what I did next for my publication, I also start something simple from publishing my lesson plan. So I found JALT teaching young learners, so we can also publish lesson plan. And in this year, I had the chance to work with my colleagues. We are writing a picture book for kids, which is here, Hero at Home. So the point here is to share to you what the most important thing is, to take action. So take action and really like share our own ideas or research that we have done to more people. Next, please. So here, let me share a little bit of my story in job hunting. So the conversation that get me employment, it was actually started when I was back in I was working in the university, and I had appointment with my most respectful professor at that time, and at the same time I met my colleague, actually my senior in TESOL program, who are working as a ALT, assistant language teacher at the university. And at that time, suddenly he came to me and he told me there might be an opportunity to work as a teacher at after school for students with special needs. So at that time I was not sure to take it or not. However, I was willing to try, and then 2 weeks later I get the contract signed in, and I get the confirmation to start working. So this is like about a month after my graduation. So this job opportunity and the job that I got opened up my new journey to step in the teaching career. And this, at the end, I found that this decision that I made was the best decision I've ever made. So I would like to say today that everyone has their own unique story, but at the end we have to be someone who other people can trust. So that's all that I could share for now, and let's get back to Mr. Johan for the formal training, sharing about the formal training that can get you employment. Thank you.
Thank you. Okay. Oh, Johan, you want to share that?
Sure.
Yes. Alright. Forgot about this one.
Okay, so there's one more tips that I would like to share actually. Here. So hands-on tips for now. Actually, what we can do at this time, right at the moment, please feel free, okay, to share your contact email account or any contact through the feature in this Zoom, like from the chat box. So what we can do, if you think that we can connect from now on to like deepen our connection, so it's really helpful for us to encourage each other and even work on something even bigger. And at the end, share our thought. So we have to start to write and work on our goals and really work on something that we can publish or we can share with other people. That's the most important part that really help our personal and professional development. Yes. So now get back to you.
Thanks. No worries. Okay, so yes, building connection is very important. But you know, you will hit a wall if you just solely focusing on just building your connections, building your technology skills. Unfortunately, formal training is also very important. And I say unfortunately because it can, you know, it's expensive and it requires commitment, right? So, you know, people have different stages of their life, you know, whether or not they can study again. So I'm quite kind of like a qualification geek. I just, you know, it's not like I'm just collecting qualifications, but I just, you know, love learning from other people. And if I'm paying money, that means that I have to be committed. You know, there's no turning back. So here you go. So yeah. So I did the Trinity College London deep TESOL, and also I got my master's from the University of Sunderland. So I'm gonna talk about these two now. Please next slide. Okay, so Trinity College London deep TESOL. So before you can do the dip, you have to do the cert TESOL. I would say it's not really recognized in Japan. I think the market in Asia, this is definitely really good if you want to get a job, you know, somewhere else. You know, obviously if you're looking at Europe, it's really useful. And the reason why I say it's not really recognized in Japan is because the market here is just so wide, right? There's so many language schools out there, and I mean, you know, if one teacher leaves, then kind of like it's not. I would say as an employer, you know, I'm not an employer, but employers would just like, okay, we'll find another teacher. So it's not really recognized, but this is really good if you want to get a job at the British Council. So I would say the reason why I outcompeted the other candidates is because of my qualification right here. And the bad thing is it's only in Tokyo, it's only available in Tokyo. So if you're in Tokyo and you want to take this qualification, good, it's your perfect chance. But if you're out in Aomori and all that other prefectures, you know, you have to actually come to Tokyo and do the practical element and to complete the course. Another positive point will be you can transfer credits to MA, and I'm going to talk about my MA right now. Please, thank you. Oh yeah, so if you want further information, I'm sorry this is very blurry, just search up Trinity College TESOL Japan, and I hope you will find this page. It's run by Shane English School. So Shane English School and Trinity College got a special deal, I guess, sort of a collaboration, so that they can deliver the course. Thanks. Okay, just again, I'll talk about my master's soon. As you can see, Trinity Dip TESOL is recognized by some universities in the UK. So when you're applying for your master's and when you say that you've got your Dip TESOL, you can get a cheaper course fee, and also you can skip a couple of modules. Thank you. Okay, so talking about my master's. As a non-native speaker, obviously I don't have a British passport or an American passport. So if I'm gonna study my master's, it has to be sort of like an international fee, and I hate that so much, just because, you know, I'm paying we non-native speakers have to pay 3 times the price of a degree, for example. But very fortunately, I did a lot of research and I found University of Sunderland. As an international student, I just have to pay. I'm paying the same fee as domestic students, so I'm really happy about that. The bad point is it's all online for this particular master's degree. If only they kind of like say, hey, you have, no matter what, even though it's only 2 weeks, you have to be in the UK just to get to know the professors or something, just a sort of face-to-face induction or whatever. That would be really awesome, right? It's just my chance to kind of like explore the UK. Especially, Sunderland is up north, so not many people have the chance to go up. It's well recognized in Japan, and obviously it's, university jobs requires master's degrees, so really worth it. The British Council, however, prefer the dip over MA. So if you don't have the dip and you have the MA and you're applying for a job and you're competing with someone who has the dip, then the British Council will prefer teachers who have diploma over master's degree. But if you have both, obviously you'll be top of the loop. Career advancements, right? So if you have a master's degree, it's lots of opportunities will arise. And I would say not as caring as the dip, because the dip TESOL was really good because you have sort of like really close contact with your tutor, and if you have a problem, you can just call her, send her an email, and it's really easy. And if you really just want to see her, just travel all the way to Tokyo and make an appointment. So I got so much love from the dip, and actually I failed one exam twice, and my tutor was always kind of like helping me, just backing me up, so just giving me lots of support. Thank you. Okay, as I said earlier, I'm quite a qualification geek. And also at the same time, I got this when I was working at the British Council. Working at the British Council, the one great thing about it is, you got lots of access to British universities, right? I think the reason why I was kind of just keen to do this was because one of the Leicester University staffs came to the British Council office and kind of like, gave, obviously they were selling courses, right? So kind of like gave a nice presentation on just different courses that University of Leicester offers. And I was drawn into this EAP field. The downside, online, it's all online. It's pretty expensive, right? Over £3,000. But the good thing about it is there are EAP gigs in Japan. They are rare, but they do exist. And I got one EAP gig and it paid really well, so I'm pretty happy with that. IELTS, it's a big business, right? So with this certificate, you'll learn more about sort of like how to prepare students for IELTS, and at the same time, pre-sessional EAP, which is students who are they just need that language skills before they conduct master's degree in the UK or bachelor's degree. Thank you. Yeah, so after like kind of like a decade or so, sorry, I'm just gonna check the time. Okay, so I need to wrap this up really quickly. Okay, so after a decade of fully teaching English as a full time, I kind of got like this itchy feet, and I kind of just want to experience sort of teaching at international schools. So I got IPGC from the University of Nottingham. It's really good. It's pretty expensive, and I got to go to Hong Kong and make new friends. And yeah, it's good if you want to get into international schools teaching. But unfortunately, because I am a non-Brit and because of the Brexit, it's just really difficult for me to kind of like finish the whole package. And I don't have QTS, and you need QTS to be kind of like on the top of the game. So very unfortunate, but I'm still happy that I did it. I learned a lot. Next. And yeah, so again, recently I got the Hawaii Teacher Standards Board. I studied with this Teach Now program. It's based in the US. It took me a good year, and I passed it and I got qualified, so pretty happy. And I'm also a qualified teacher in DC. And yeah, I'm excited to start University of People in November. Like I said, I'm quite sort of like studying for me. It's kind of like relaxing after working actually. So just nice and professionally developing. Okay. Yeah. Just to wrap it up. Teaching is tiring, guys. I remember my first sort of couple of years of teaching. I would spend hours and hours planning my lessons just because I'm not as confident in my English language. I do a lot of research, when it comes to teaching grammar, or for example, when I'm teaching reading, writing, like skills in English. So, but then as a non-native speaker, as you become better at it, you spend less time planning. So, and then you have to ask yourself like, how much do you want it, right? Because your fellow native speaker colleagues will spend half an hour planning and perhaps preparing for this presentation. It'll just take them less time, but for us it just takes more time. So if you're willing to do the hours, if you love it, if you love what you do, then it's very satisfying. Teaching is very satisfying. It's tiring, but it's satisfying. I love it. No pain, no gain. Sorry, talk too much.
Alright, thank you for the great part from Mr. Johan. So for me, it's actually pretty similar to what Johan said. So what I would like to say is, it's never too late to start learning, to start improving and develop our own skills and also professional development. So teaching is hard work. Sweat, tears, efforts are fuels in teaching. Whether we are non-native speaker or native speakers doesn't define our destiny. So keep learning, keep believing in you, and believe it in your work. So that's all from our presentation. I hope you found this valuable, and we'll open for Q&A, question and answer session. So we're glad to hear your feedback, your question. We're gonna discuss it together. Thank you.
This is we kind of just want to make it sort of like exactly 40 minutes. Now it's 37. So we'll just have a casual chat for the next 3 minutes or so. For example, like in making this presentation, I got a bit angry to him because it was taking him a long time to respond to me, but we solved the conflict. Now we're here. He's traveled a long way actually to be here. This is kind of like a room that me and a bunch of other people are renting just because of COVID-19. So that when someone is sick, it's a good sort of spot to recover, because we're all working, right? Really nice. And then so actually the time now, it's It's almost 11 p.m.
Oh, yeah, true.
So we're working really hard. I mean, because I have a baby, so I asked him if he can come after 9 p.m. and he's very flexible about it. So thank you so much.
We made it.
Yes. And yes, we did it. Oh my gosh,
okay.
This is pretty good. I mean, yeah, it took me a couple of hours to get the slides ready, and how many hours did it take?
Takes days.
It takes days.
Takes days for me, yeah. Exactly.
Yeah. But I think when you make things, obviously it's not going to be perfect, but you're kind of like preparing for the next project that you're gonna do, right?
Yes, I think
building skills.
Building up. Together for like the next or the future one, I can like have the idea of what to do more and what to say more.
Yeah. I mean, I'm really glad that this was a successful ending, and maybe we'll do something else. I don't know, related.
We'll see.
Maybe, not presentation. Maybe we'll do something different. Maybe a publication. Like he said, it's really hard to start. But once you've finished it, once it's accepted, then they'll have a beer.
Yes. That's the most important.
Good. Okay. Thank you so much, guys.
Yes.
40 minutes is done.
Thank you.
Right. Thank you so much. Thank you so much for every one of you, for Miss Claire, for the room host. And yeah, thank you so much for staying with us. I hope it was a good presentation for everyone. And we do appreciate if you would share or ask some questions regarding the presentation. Please, so.
Thank you so much.
Thank you.
I love you. You were very candid. I like the style of presentation that you had.
Yeah, it was great. Like very, very
thank you so much.
committed and enthusiastic and innovative. And at 11 p.m., recording it at 11 p.m. Wow, commitment.
It was a bit late. Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, we had a sort of technical issue.
Yes.
We were presenting at the end. It was just like battery gone using my camera. So it was my fault, but
I was lucky. I had a new phone, which is had a good camera, so we can record it directly.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, technology is our friend and our enemy.
Exactly.
I think we've learned a lot of technological things over this past week with all of the sessions that we've had going on at JALT, and especially as we've had more people join us in the last couple of days. There's been a few things going on in the background, but it's going to happen. So we just have to learn how to deal with it and move on. So yeah, I think you did great.
You're going to be master of Zoom.
The Zoom masters.
Zoom master.
Yeah.
Exactly.
Yeah.
We tried recording it with Zoom, but then there's this kind of like, I don't know, like like the toolbars, like for example, if you just open up Keynote, for example, you've got like those menus right at the top, and it's somehow, I don't know, it's got that menu, like for example, like you're looking at Zoom, you've got like the Zoom Us meeting view, and that is recorded at the top. And then we were like, is this okay? Should we do it again? And then we decided, do it again. So
you can do with different settings, so it won't record that bit. So okay. Yeah, but it takes some playing around with, and yeah, I think you guys came up with a solution. So I
think it's better to get together like doing the presentation.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think the chemistry was better doing it the way that you did, and actually moving around and seeing more than just the head as well.
True.
Yeah, it's a lot nicer, more comfortable and at home kind of a presentation or video. Yeah.
Well, I was smiling as I was watching it, because it had a good energy.
Yeah, the enthusiasm as the two of you were going through was really good. So and you've studied so much. You just keep studying and studying.
Studying, I think Mr. Johan is master.
Yeah, I mean,
Training master.
yeah, it's kind of good for me because you know, if I don't have that commitment, like I just don't do anything. Like, you know, just YouTube all the time. Like if I don't I don't know, if I'm not bound by a treaty or like if I'm not bound by a contract, it's just like it's so hard for me to focus. It's just like there's so many fun things that's just kind of wasting time. Well, obviously not with my son, but you know, I'm enjoying my time with my son. But yeah, I just browse Facebook for hours. It's just kind of like, oh man, you know, I should do something.
So where are you both working now?
Right now, I'm working as a school teacher at it's a school called International School. Indian International School in Japan. I'm teaching history, so kind of like a dream for me. So it's really exciting teaching history. Yes. Yeah. Learning a lot about U.S. history, which is really hard. Right now, we're covering World War I and World War II, focusing on Nazism and Hitler. And previous topic was French Revolution and Russian Revolution. So yeah, plenty of things to learn. I'm really enjoying it because it's content now. I'm learning more about content. When I was basically, you guys know, as a language teacher, I don't know, it's just learning about grammar and not so much content, right? Some more towards skills, for example, like writing skills, reading skills. And yeah, after a decade of that, I feel like I kind of just want to do more. I want to be a content expert and kind of look into international schools teaching. And it was quite challenging actually, just to shift from pure ESL to you know, become a content teacher, right? And kind of like considering between sort of a bit confused of what to do. Like, should I teach math? Like, I'm not really good at math. Should I teach science? I don't have a background in science, and with history. So see what happens.
And yeah, where are you working at the moment?
I'm currently teaching in Sagamihara. It is an after school, so kind of special school for students with special needs, and it's pretty, yeah, I think pretty similar with what Johan doing. Mr. Johan doing. It's not the language aspect that we are learning, but the school is like focusing on technology and then programming, games, and all the arts. And I'm learning about how to play games. So supporting the student, like kind of assisting them, but communicate with them in English. So in both way they could enjoy and also learn English as well.
Yeah, well, it's really great, you know, engaging in a task and learning through English rather than English being, you know, the be all and end all of the activity, it being something that comes as you focus on something else. That's the kind of thing I like to do with my daughter, because we're raising her bilingually in Japanese and English, and yeah, I don't really want to do English lessons with her. I want to do lots of different things with her that she can engage in, and that we do them, you know, in English, and things like cooking together and making things, craft, looking up songs and trying to learn to play them through YouTube videos on the piano, and then learning the words and that kind of stuff. So, yeah.
Exactly, I think I agree with that, because it's more interesting because kind of communicative, and we do use the English for that purpose. So it's not like learning language based on our structure, something like that.
Yeah, I've just started a new project this year with my students. They are more advanced, so their English level is quite good, and it's discussion based, but their assessment is actually to create a website of the things that we've been doing in class. And I've also got permission from the university to then put that website out in the public sphere so that other people can see what they're doing, prospective students can see what they're doing. It's all SDG based, so the Sustainable Development Goals from UNESCO. So it gives them more of a purpose.
Right.
With what they're doing. You know, they have most of the English skills there that advanced, but they need to be able to put that somewhere and not just be contained within the walls of the university. So
Right. That sounds awesome.
What domain are you using? Are you using
so we're just using Google Sites for the moment. Yeah. So I don't expect it to be something huge, but it will be something that they can, you know, at least say to people, hey, check out this website that I made with so-and-so.
Yeah.
Yeah. But it's trying to figure out how to assess the website itself. That's the problem.
Well, you know, a group of students that were in a seminar in one of the higher level classes at my university, they worked with a teacher on a project to actually make a short demo video of how to prepare for online classes at the beginning of the pandemic. And that was shared on the site, and it was shared by teachers outside of the university with their students. And it was in Japanese first. And then they made a bilingual version by just adding the subtitles later and sharing it so that international students would be able to figure it out too if they hadn't, you know, gained competency in Japanese yet. And that kind of project, the students were so proud of it, you know, and it had such a very real life impact that it was really meaningful. So those kind of things can be phenomenal.
Yes.
And I think, you know, Hidayat's working with special needs students. Sometimes they can be forgotten, especially within the language sphere. You know, they're just dumped in with everybody else, but actually doing something that they can relate to specifically, like playing games, but using English as the medium would, you know, make them feel a lot more at ease and not as much of a learning environment as a, you know, using and fun environment.
Yeah, I think I agree with that, because some students also had like kind of selective mutism. It's like maybe she or he can't really like express himself directly, and through the games kind of can enjoy and then pick some words, and then if she wants something from the games, like new in Minecraft, for example, if you know, they got a new mode, they can play like currently like Demon Slayer's mode. So they get all the weapons there, and we can name it Demon Slayer, and the name of the weapons, like the swords and everything in English.
What are your students' population, Hidayat? Like, are most of them Japanese?
Yes, 100% Japanese. And the problem is I'm still learning Japanese, so I'm not good at Japanese currently, and it's kind of, it's all right from the owner of the school is like pretty supportive, and he believed that okay, you can keep speaking in English, is all right, because it's kind of they get the input, listening input, and it might be the process of learning also.
Right.
But exactly, I do try to speak a little bit in Japanese to make it more easily to understand. Right.
How old are your students?
Sorry. Most of them from 8 to 10 years old.
Okay, so they're still young. Okay.
Yeah, but the schools can afford like primary 1 to high school.
Right.
Yes.
Hey guys, I'm going to dip out at the end. I've got to go check on some things in other sessions, but I was really, really happy to come along and engage with you. Thank you so much.
Thank you so much. Thank you so much for being with us.
Yeah, it was really awesome. Really, really, I loved your session. Thank you.
Thank you so much.
Catch you later.
See you.
Bye.
Emily, you want to add anything? We've got
Hi,
Hi.
Dan and Johan.
Great.
Is it Johan or Johan?
Johan, yes.
It's Johan, because in my country, if we say Johan, it means champion.
Oh, wow.
Are you from Malaysia?
Yes, I am.
I see.
Yes. So
Johan,
hi. Yeah, I'm sorry
Yeah.
for stepping in late because I was room hosting in another session, and this presenter was sharing about how her Nepali students were contacting her Japanese students here in Japan. So there was like a video exchange going on, how they were sharing different types of cultures from their local context. So I think something about in relation to the plenary today, and about how Amar was saying you should always try to think locally in the context that you're teaching. And I feel that as a non-native speaker myself, because I'm not from a native speaking country, it's a very interesting like presentation. I wish I could have watched yours from the start, but I was really looking forward to just hopping into a presentation about non-native speakers because I am considered one of them here in Japan. But in my experience here, my teachers don't see me that way. They still refer to me as a native speaker. So I'm an ALT in Niigata. So yes, so that is just one of the experiences that I have over here. Yeah, I don't sound very Malaysian, to be very honest, because if I started sounding Malaysian, they would not understand me very well.
Well, thank you so
Yeah,
much for
so
joining.
thank you for your presentation for just a little short time. Even though it was just a very short couple of minutes, I could already feel the energy of your presentation, and it was quite a very good change from the typical kind of traditional presentations that we've always been seeing in conferences like everywhere. You know, like I really love when people connect with others, especially, you know, in this difficult time. So thank you so much for that. Yeah.
Thank you so much for coming.
Okay. Yes, Phil, does Phil want to say
We're
anything?
actually very lucky. The three of us that are with you are actually we're all in Niigata. Like we know each other. We're good friends.
Are you a jet, Emily?
Sorry?
Are you a jet?
No, the jet in my country shut down in 1995. So I'm actually a direct hire.
Hey,
Great.
I was a jet.
Yeah. You were a jet? Oh, okay.
I was the jet.
Yeah, jet. So I think a couple of us have gone down that road. But yeah, it was still open for Singapore, but for Malaysia, it was already closed donkey years ago.
How long have you been ALT?
September this year, it was 2 years.
Okay. So you're
Yep. And it's a very interesting time right now because they are introducing new textbooks.
all right.
So I'm actually going through that process with my teachers and my students. So I'm just watching them try to grasp like new language and how I can help them from my context as well, because it's getting difficult for them.
Right.
But it's a good time to be around and help out, especially when they are teaching a language that they don't speak every day.
Is it true that English is going to start at third graders?
I think they are, no, I have no idea whether it will start at third graders, but it's already introduced to the schools.
Right.
It's just not an official subject, so they're not graded for it.
Right.
But
Right.
they must have the lesson once a week to get them interested in the subject.
Third grade. Once a week.
Yeah, once a week. That's as much as they can do because they are still picking up different aspects of Japanese language and math and science. So it's a lot for the kids to take in 5 periods a day, or maybe four periods a day, depending on how it goes. But from grade 5 onwards, English is already compulsory. So they've introduced performance tests, and the students have to do speaking tests for every 3 units, and they have paper writing tests as well. They're coping in my schools.
Awesome.
They're coping, yeah. And I think it's just a very good time for the teachers to get this like encouragement to continue with what they're doing, because a lot of my teachers already know what they're doing. It's just that because the system didn't require English to be assessed the last year, now that it's in, they can fully get accredited for their work that they've been doing with the students. So I think that's a very good opportunity for those who really like English. Like I'm just lucky to work with Max teachers. So yeah.
I find that very surprising because when I was a jet, I was at a high school and perhaps like maybe like once or twice a month, I had to like go to like a primary school and just teach English there. So the English lessons that they're getting, it's just like maybe once in every month, right, for the whole grade. And now it's third graders once a week. I would say fifth graders twice a week now.
Yes, twice a week.
Oh, that's a huge improvement. But again, they have to sacrifice a particular subject. I don't know if it's Sogo or
I have no idea how much they sacrificed like their different subjects, but I think it's a necessary move because you cannot really grasp a language in such a short or a very low amount of frequency, because once they step out of the classroom, English is just out the door like they are, and they don't have the opportunity to communicate with their friends because they would just go back to Japanese. Because it's just the easier way, and also it's just the context of Japan itself. You're trying to introduce a language that is considered very mendokusai to use. So yeah, like, I don't know, I love that term right now because it just incorporates everything I would like to express.
Mendokusai.
Yes, it's so super mendokusai,
Just
but yes.
that we've hit the 1 hour mark. So
Sorry. I'm sorry to take up the last part of your discussion.
Thank you so much for sharing. That's a great sharing.
Thank you.
Thank you guys. Thank you for the chemistry and for the fun and the way you guys presented. It was a refreshing thing to see.
Oh, very quickly. I'm dropping my email very quickly in the chat if you need to connect with me on ALT stuff. Yes.
All right, thank you.
Very quickly. Okay.
All right, I will stop this recording now.
Thank you so much for everything.